What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Marvel Spider-Man review. So, we're reviewing 3 episodes today. We're going to review The Sandman, a symbiotic relationship, and Stark Expo. So, yeah, let's start with Sandman. Now, I'm going to say this right now. Out of all 3 of these that I'm about to review, Sandman was probably, for me, the best episode in the series. I've seen the other ones already. I will review them, obviously. But I think that out of the last 10 episodes I saw, Sandman is definitely the best one. Number 6 is definitely the best one out of all those. And I'm about to explain why. So, it's pretty normal. Everything starts pretty normal, and then we run into Sandman. One of my favorite parts in this episode was when Sandman and him were fighting inside of, Aunt May's house. I thought that was really cool. I thought that really brought out the emotional, like, the tension of, his home. Aunt May's home, his home, it's being like wrecked by this Sandman, and he's got to get him out of there. And I just love how we get to see him, get him out of the house, and I like that. I thought it was pretty funny how, Aunt May's like, "Oh, where's Peter?" but no, I like that. And then eventually, let me restart. Let me go back to the beginning. One of the reasons why I like this episode is because it shows Peter Parker not being so science-y. I like how he is trying to talk to Miles and Anna and Gwen and trying to convince them to have fun at the beginning of this episode. I really like that because it's like we don't always have to do science work. We can enjoy life, and we can like laugh and play games and do that stuff. I like that. It showed that it's not all about science, it's also about, enjoying life and stuff like that. But, they're on this beach, then the Sandman pops up, and Spider-Man's got to save people, and, that's why I didn't want to really start there. But moving back to where I was after he was in Aunt May's house and Spider-Man fought him. Then talking to him, he finds out that his Sandman's daughter, and I'm not really, for some reason I'm not good at pronouncing her name. What is it? Kima? It's Kima. Yes, that's why I wrote it down. It was pretty interesting. They go to Hammerhead's one of his bases or buildings or whatever, and they find Kima, and it turns out that Kima was infected by the very thing that turned Flint Marko into Sandman, and now we have like the Sand Girl or Sand Woman or whatever you want to call her. So I find it interesting how, it's not really more like, oh, Sandman's the bad guy again. It's more now his daughter. I don't know. Like, I think, like, honestly, for me, this is not, as a Spider-Man fan, this is not really good, but it's not really bad either. It's kind of like, oh, that's something new. I haven't seen something like that before. I like that it's a little different. But for me, it's not a plus or a negative. It's just kind of okay. But I did really like the dynamic between the daughter and the father, and how she's mad at him, and she just crushes him. She just like obliterates him. I guess he's dead. I don't know. But then we get the black suit. The black suit apparently was on Peter when the case broke at the beginning of the episode. I didn't say that before because I wanted it to be a surprise for some of you who actually are watching this and didn't watch it yet. So Peter gets the black suit, he just starts wailing on some dudes, and then he has to make his escape. And so we have Black Suit Spider-Man. And that's why I am going to use this as a gateway to talk about the next episode, which is called Symbiotic Relationship, episode 7. So basically, just this takes place right after the last episode, where Sandman's gone, Kima and Hammerhead disappear, and he has the black suit, and he's stopping bad guys with the new black suit, and people are like, oh, Spider-Man, black suit. There was even a scene where these robbers it was at the very beginning, had Spider-Man masks, their normal red masks, and Black Suit Spider-Man pops up and takes them out, of course. I'm not going to go too much in detail with this episode because, again, it's a review. I'm not trying to spoil too much, but, just as much as I can, because I do want you to watch it. Because I won't want to explain every single little thing, because then what's the point of you watching it, especially if what you're hearing you don't like. So that's another reason why. But back to what I'm saying. One of the things I like about the symbiotic relationship is the fact that, well, honestly, a bit of bad and good, and I'll explain why it's bad and good. The tense moments with the black suit. Now, if you guys remember previous Spider-Man iterations, any of them, you know that the black suit is a major change for Parker. It changes his mood, it changes the way he thinks, it makes him more aggressive, it makes him more violent. So this show's opportunity to take this and make it like those classy spectacular Spider-Mans or the new animated series. It doesn't really do that here. It just kind of puts a joke on top of it, which kind of breaks the tension of this. With the black suit, it should always be tense. It should always be tense because he's on the edge of like, oh, am I gonna kill this guy type of thing. Like that's the thing with the black suit. It will push him to the edge to the point where he may or may not kill someone. And that's why for example, I really like these. That's why I brought them up, the Spectacular Spider-Man and the animated series, about when you see him just enraged and just willing to kill people like that. And I guess it's scary. It's scary, but it's supposed to be scary, and that's why I actually like the animated series the best, because it takes like 3 episodes to show you how menacing this can be over time. Oh, it's a good thing, but then it slowly goes into this bad thing, and he's not thinking straight, and he figures that out. And I like how, he was perceived as scary. And this show doesn't do that for me. It just is a joke. And that is what kind of put me off a bit. One of the things I will say is, because I talked enough about Spider-Man, let's talk about Peter. Peter is a little different. He, he's acting all confident, he's like talking to Harry, he's wearing shades and shit, like, oh, no. Like, it's funny, because you know what I was thinking in my head? I was thinking Spider-Man 3. Like, and I don't care what none of y'all say, okay? I love when he's dancing in the streets like a complete dummy. Like, I thought that was hilarious. When I was younger, when I was like 7 years old, Spider-Man 3 was the shit, okay? I don't care what none of y'all say. And I know some of you are like, no, Spider-Man 3 sucks, and blah, 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 but I don't hate the movie. I really like the movie, actually. If I was to agree with you on one thing, people who don't like Spider-Man 3, I would say the one thing I don't like about that movie is the actor who played as Eddie Brock in Venom. That is my only problem. Other than that, I didn't have a problem with, just Toby having fun, dancing in the streets, acting like a fool. Um, After two movies, you kind of need a break and you kind of need to let loose, in my opinion. But I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to this. So when I was talking about tension before it's Spider-Man. Before I go back with the tension, let me explain. Let me talk about the suit because I feel like I should have talked about the suit even in the first place. It's kind of a classy design, but it's also new. It reminds me of the reminds me of the if you guys have played the Amazing Spider-Man game, you would see the black suit version of that suit of the red and blue. He's got the black on the white on the shoes, and then he's got like the spider. It's kind of different. It doesn't really stretch to the back, which I kind of don't like. But it looks decent. It looks pretty good. I actually like the design for the suit. But I just don't. But let's go back to the tension. I don't like how it has no tension. There's not really a lot of tension. The most tension I get is when Parker's in upstairs and Aunt May is talking to him, and then he just kind of yells at her. The black suit mimics him talking and yells at her. And I'm like, okay, it can do that. That was the only tension I got, and I don't know. And then we soon in the episode get to the point where he's like, oh, I gotta take this off, and I don't like the way he takes it off. He goes to Osborn, and he fights two vultures, and he's trying to convince himself to let them take the suit off of him, and he basically tricks him at the end to get the suit back so that he can give it back to Max back at his school. So it's one of those things where after watching that episode you just kind of think, wow, they had potential here, but they just kind of said fuck it. Like, they just didn't care. The only, and honestly, I didn't like this episode. And, I like the black suit. But this episode just didn't do it for me. It had potential, and it set it up, in a way where it didn't, seem stupid from the last episode. But, actually watching the episode, after a while, you're thinking to yourself, oh, man, this could have been better. But I don't know. There was too much goofy moments. They added too much goofiness on top of the stress and the emotional impacts that you're supposed to receive, and it could have done better. That's what makes me a little irritated. Is it could have done better. If I was to tell you what my favorite scene from this episode was, it was when the symbiote was making him punch himself in the face. Why you hitting yourself, Parker? Why you hitting yourself? It was hilarious. I'll be honest. I actually burst out laughing because I would always think of myself why doesn't the black suit just make Parker knock himself out? And they did it here, and I thought it was pretty funny. But anyway, let's move on to the next episode. I spent too long on this one. The Stark Expo. Now, obviously, you can guess by the title, Tony Stark's in this. And all they're doing is basically telling you, hey, guess what? It's part of the MCU or, part of this Disney XD universe, whatever they call it. But yeah, Iron Man's in this. Spider-Man and Iron Man have a little tussle because there's apparently a ghost at the Stark Expo before it starts. And this episode mainly just takes place at the this expo. We see Peter fanboy out with Tony. which is fine. I don't mind. If you were to ask me, hey, why do you not have a problem with the this version of Peter Parker fanboying out than you did with the Homecoming movie? Well, that's because Iron Man gave everything to him in the Homecoming movie. In this show, at least he makes his own stuff, so he has a sense of pride and a sense of, yeah, that's right, I made that type of attitude. But I don't know, that's why it didn't bother me as much when he fanboyed out. I was like, I don't care, just move on to the next scene. But anyway, moving on. I don't, now forgive me, but if you're an Iron Man fan and you know who Ghost is, let me know. I don't know who the hell Ghost is. I really don't. I don't know who this Ghost guy is. Is he an Iron Man villain of some kind? Because I've never have heard of this guy before. He's new to me. I've never heard of this guy. So basically there's a big fight in this expo between Spider-Man, Tony, and everybody's there. Osborn's there, Doc Ock's there, the Vultures are there, Iron Man's there, Spider-Man's there, with fighting this Ghost guy. And it's like, and basically Ghost, he basically takes out technology, so he basically shuts off the technology, That's his thing. I guess that's his gimmick, is he just interferes with technology, and he, that's what he does. I have a comment about Doc Ock's arms. Doc Ock, first of all, I've already given my opinions about the person who voice acts him. But what's with his arms? His arms look so loosely stringy. If in almost every other iteration of Spider-Man, or Doc Ock, I should say, his arms look mechanical, but in this show, they don't look mechanical. They kind of look stringy. I don't understand why they look so stringy. Like, it's just kind of weird. But anyway, that's just my little complaint with Doc Ock's arms. Hopefully they actually look more mechanical in the future, or maybe he upgrades them and they look more mechanical or scary. I don't know. I feel like some of these shows, because I was talking about that with the last episode, go balls to the wall. Scare the kids. They're the villain. They're supposed to scare you. Like, that's why they're villains. That's why you got people out here being bad guys, because they think it's cool. No, make it scary. Make them scary, man. Like, just go crazy. Make the villains scary. Like, come on, guys. Alright, so Ghost has taken out all their tech. Spider-Man and Iron Man don't know what to do. So Spider-Man decides, I'm gonna use the black suit. He puts it on and he uses it to beat Ghost. Now, let me explain to you why this doesn't make sense. Okay? First of all, this guy takes out tech. Spider-Man doesn't need his tech to take this son of a bitch down. Okay? He can rely on his spider sense, his super strength, and his agility. Yes, his web shooters are out. Yes, but that doesn't mean he can't just super jump up and beat his ass. This show tries to do this, because of the black suit, that's why he was able to, web him up and kick his ass. That's dumb. No, it should be like, jump up, grab him, beat his ass. Like, this guy relies on his tech. Why is Spider-Man relying on tech? Or at the end he just relies on the black suit's brute strength. He didn't need the black suit to beat this guy. That's my problem. He didn't need the black suit to beat this guy. And he just kind of puts it on. And then he was going to kill him, or I don't know what. He was going, or they were saying, you're going too far. When the fuck is he ever... Okay, he doesn't ever... In my opinion, he doesn't go too far. Ever. in my opinion, the only times that Spider-Man looks like he's about to kill someone was in the animated series and Spectacular Spider-Man. Those are the points where I was like, oh man, he's about to kill that guy. Here I was like, no, just beat him up. Like, that's, I don't know. Like, I don't know. The show feels so G and PG to me, where it's like, it's not trying and it just doesn't care. So, not trying and not caring, it kind of shows. It kind of shows when you don't care about the product or about the episode. It shows, and I don't understand why they felt like, oh, we forgot to put that moment in the last episode. Why don't we put it in here? No. Spider-Man should have been able to beat him without his tech. That would have showed Spider-Man growing up. That would have showed Spider-Man, like, I'm more than my tech. I'm more than just my web shooters or any of that. I can use my strength, my speed, my skill. I don't need to rely on my tech. And at the end, he relies on the black suit to give him back his web shooters, his organic webbing, so he can web them up, take them down, beat them up. I hated that. I just hated that. And then Max is an idiot because before, Peter Parker's like, hey, this thing's alive. First of all, if you're I don't know if the black suit or the symbiote can do this, but for it to disguise its life doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, or it just never moved. I don't understand. Really? Max, did you not try to shock the thing? Did you not try to, like, test it? Like, I feel like he was kind of an idiot in this episode too. It's like he was like, "Oh no, it's not alive." But then when Spider-Man puts it on, then it's like, "Oh, it's alive." You didn't test this out, apparently, dude. Like it blows my mind. It just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, that was all the episodes. But like I said, the Sandman one, out of not only these two, but out of the last 10 episodes I watched, Sandman was the best episode I watched so far. Sandman. Not Black Suit, symbiotic relationship, not Stark Expo with Iron Man in it, none of that. None of those. Sandman, so far, the only good episode I actually watched and I enjoyed and I actually could deal with it. But I don't know, man. I mean, overall, the series is kind of having this you got one good one, but the rest is kind of average or below average, or they're just not cutting it. They gotta figure this out because and I don't want to say this, but hopefully with, whenever, and I'm gonna keep this in the past tense so I don't spoil it, but whenever Miles gets his powers or Anna gets her powers, hopefully Spider-Man can step up and be a teacher or a mentor. And that's another thing with this series. If you're going for this mentor, this teacher route, why don't you just make Spider-Man an adult and make Miles and Anna the kids? I felt like that sounds better in my head, but let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that would have been better? Because I think with them being the same ages, it's like there's no room to grow. There's no character development here. And that's what the problem with this series is so far, is the black suit is supposed to be a character defining moment for Spider-Man. When he's, or with the Stark Expo, without his tech, without his web shooters, you have the opportunity to show off, to show him, to show what he can do. And that's the thing with Spider-Man, is I feel like they always depower him and depower him and depower him and make him look weak. Spider-Man is not weak. He's not weak. Isn't that right, little baby Spider-Man? Isn't that right, little baby Spider-Man? Yes, it is. That's right, baby Spider-Man. This show needs to take a step back, analyze its problems, listen to the audience, listen to the fans, and adjust accordingly to the fans or to the complaints. Okay? That's just what I think. Hopefully they do this. Hopefully the show gets better, because I have never in my life have ever said that a TV show of Spider-Man was bad. And this is going down that route. It needs to try. You need to try, guys. Marvel, you're being cocky. You need to try. Try, please. You can do this. I'm trying to believe in you. But anyway, guys, that was the 3 episodes. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was pretty long episode. I should start putting Spidey in here. Look at this guy. But see, I don't got. Did I just have you right there, Spidey? Would you like that, Spidey? Just sit right there, and we'll talk about your show. Yeah. Yeah, you like that? Okay. But anyway, I should start putting him in here more. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and let me know what you think about the series, the show so far. Where are you at with it? I don't care if you spoil anything. Let's just talk. Let's just talk about the series so far. If you like it, good for you. If you hate it, okay. Honestly, I'm in the middle. I don't really hate it, and I don't really like it. I'm just kind of like, I got other things to worry about. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think. We can talk about it wherever you want. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.